When you realize that in life you have all to gain and nothing to lose, your entire perspective will change. The magic that you are looking for in life is in the work that you are avoiding and the work that you're not willing to put in. It is so easy to be great nowadays because not many people want to put the work in. So here is how you can. If you are sick and tired of writing goals down and not actually achieving them, this video is for you. Today, we are going to be covering 6 tips that I literally swear by that are so helpful when it comes to achieving any goal or whatever it is that you have on your mind, and how to stay motivated and inspired constantly to stay on track of your goals every single day. For as long as I can remember, I have always been obsessed with goal setting and just being a better person, learning every single day. Like, I'm obsessed with just self-growth, personal development, learning, education, all those kinds of things. And over the last few months, since I've graduated college, since I left my corporate job, and since I've really just been immersed in all of my passion projects and being a lot more creative, I have realized like it's really up to me now to stay on track and stay on top of all the things that I want to accomplish. Because now that I'm not in school, now that I don't really have a real job that's in person anymore, and I'm kind of just on my own every single day, it is really up to me to make sure that I'm staying on top of me, that I'm staying disciplined, that I'm staying determined, and that I'm doing everything that I set my mind to. So in this video, I want to cover these 6 tips that I swear by that are really going to be helpful when it comes to helping you stay on track of whatever it is you want to accomplish, whether it is a personal goal that is near and dear to you, a financial goal, a health and wellness goal, whatever it is. So let's get started. Number 1 is I consume my content very strategically. And by this, I mean I am not online all the time. I used to be on social media all hours of the day. My screen time was really bad. And then I realized I do not want to be on social media this much. I do not want to constantly be consuming content. And I've had so many social media jobs in the past where it literally was my job to be online all the time, all day, every day, identifying trends, how can we hop on it, making content, etc. And then I would come home and do that for myself. And then I would have to make content for me, for my own personal brands. And then it just ended up me being on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and Pinterest all day, every day, and that is just so unhealthy. So I realized that I need to consume my content strategically, because personally I get really inspired and motivated by looking at what other people are doing and by learning from what other people are doing. For example, I really like to listen to interviews with other entrepreneurs and other business owners. I like to watch vlogs of people getting their work done and talking about different tips and tricks that can help me in my life. By consuming certain pieces of content and doing it in that kind of strategic way, it has been really helpful and so much easier on my mental health. I'm not just obsessed with seeing, what is this influencer doing today, or why am I not doing enough, or why am I not at this phase in my life when this person is and they're my age. Social media, as amazing as it can be, it can also be really harmful and detrimental to your mental health. So I feel like it's really important to just know what is good, what is bad, and how to have that perfect balance. So for me, I don't go on social media after a certain time, and I do not go on it until a certain time in the morning. Change the way that you are consuming your content. Do it strategically. Know what affects you and what is good for you, what isn't good for your mental health, what triggers you, what gives you anxiety. And it sounds like really dramatic, everything that I'm saying, but it really can do wonders to you and your mind if you are not on it as much. Number 2 is have goals, but set them into different categories. So if you guys haven't watched my monthly reset for July video, I really broke down all aspects of my Canva deck and how I set myself up for the month. And I've been doing this since May, and we're already in July, but I realized that I needed to hold myself accountable. I needed to have something where I know, like, I'm keeping track of what I'm doing, I'm keeping track of reflections for the month, and I'm making sure that I'm like looking back and seeing what did I do this month, what did I not do, what did I want to have more time to do, etc. But by having categories of what is important to you and then setting goals within those categories, it can honestly be life-changing. So for me, I really like to focus on mental, physical, environmental, and lastly is personal. I specifically like these 4 categories because they all mean something different to me. So when it comes to physical, I like to work out, I like to go on walks. When it comes to mental, I really want to focus on what can I do to improve my mind. With personal, maybe I want to read a certain amount of books this month. And with environmental, I just want to make sure that I'm being clear of who is in my space, what is in my space, what is taking my energy, what isn't, what people are are worth it, what people are not. And it sounds like, again, really dramatic, but it is true. Like the people you surround yourself with, the conversations you're having every day, the thoughts that you have, it is a big part of who is in your life and who is around you. And you don't want negative people in your life. You want people that are obviously going to uplift you. So by putting all these different categories into my Canva deck and breaking it down and writing my goals for every single one, it really helps me have this like bigger, clearer picture, this bigger visual of who do I want to be, how can I be a better person this month, and what can I do to get to that. Number 3 is role models. Have people that you look up to, have people that inspire you in whatever industry or category it is that you like. So if you are really into fitness and wellness, maybe you have people that you look up to in the fitness and wellness industry. If you are a business owner, maybe you have entrepreneurs, just like how I have entrepreneurs that I look up to and I'm like, I love their story and I want to be able to have my own story like that, but obviously in my own way. But having people that you look up to and just seeing that someone out there in the world has accomplished their goals and their dreams and they pushed through obstacles and setbacks and they still got to where they are today, by having those people in your mind, it really pushes you even further to think, I can definitely do whatever it is that I want to do. Because the biggest belief that a lot of us have is that we think we can't accomplish something. The biggest misconception that so many of us just continue to have every day is we need to comply with certain norms and things that society wants us to be and do and think like. And that is one of the worst things that you can do, is just to think that whatever society has given you and what society has made and molded around you is what you have to be. But it is about how can you break out of that mold? How can you do something that is bigger than you? How can you just make a change in the world? And it doesn't have to be that big, but at least for me, when I look at things, I always think, you know, how can I be a better person? What can I contribute into this world? Whether it's being a kind person and holding the door open for someone, or providing information to someone who is asking for help, like whatever it is, I always think like, how can I just give back to whatever it is that I'm doing and bring something that is bigger than me? So by having role models and inspiration and people that you look up to, it's almost like you're giving yourself that belief of, oh my gosh, if they did it, like I can 100% do it. And so many of these successful people that we know and look up to have overcome so much. And I said this in one of my TikTok videos, which is that don't compare your day 1 to someone's day 1000. Don't compare your day 1 to the day 1000 of someone constantly working on their goals and their dreams and their habits and being consistent. Because that is the thing. A lot of us want that instant and immediate gratification from what we see online, but social media is such a one-way street. It's only what people want to post and what they want to share. Don't think that whatever you see online is always true, but know that people overcame certain things and you can learn about these people. You can, like I said, have these role models, really get to know the nitty-gritty of their story and how they got to where they are today, and use that to fuel your own fire. Number 4 is I read every single day, no matter what. Reading is something that is so overlooked and it's so simple, but not many people do it. And it was only about 3-ish years ago that I really got back into reading. I loved reading and writing when I was younger. I always thought that I was going to be an author and an illustrator because I love to read and I also loved to draw. And I've always been a very creative, storytelling, visual kind of person ever since I was younger. When I got to high school and when life started to get a little bit busier and reading wasn't as cool anymore, I obviously didn't do it as much. And then when I got to college and I was thinking like, I don't want to be on social media as much, I kind of want to just like do things that are for me, I got back into reading and I started finding all these books and different stories that really drew me. So many people, like I said, overlook it, and it's such a simple thing that is just mental fitness for your mind. Like you are literally using your mind, reading these words, and even if it's funny little romance books like how I read, that is totally fine. For me, I like to really split my reading time between reading a business book and then also reading a book for fun. Sometimes you just don't want to think. Sometimes you just want a romance that you can just binge in one night, and other times you want a business book that you can just sit and actually highlight and get really good information from. So it's really important to just make sure that you are reading, and I cannot recommend this enough, because even if it's just articles, like even if it is just 10 minutes of your day at night of that unwinding time that you are just opening up a book or just finding an article online, make sure that you are just reading and always educating yourself, because there's no bad benefit of reading. Number 5 is you want to reflect on previous months and really look back at what you have learned. What are your highlights of the month? What can you bring from last month into this month? What are good habits? What are bad habits? And for me, when I first started doing this like monthly reflection back in May, I had a little bit of trouble like figuring out what made this month so good? What did I like? What didn't I like? And when you actually sit down with yourself and you are in this little deck, or you have a journal or whatever you're writing your goals on, it's really nice to just look back at the month as a whole. And I've talked about this with my boyfriend before, because he wants to get into journaling, but he's like, I don't want to write about the same thing every day because I feel like every single day it's going to be repetitive. And I told him that when I was first getting into journaling, I used to think the same thing, but you would be surprised at how different you feel every single day. You would be surprised at how much you learn every single day. And every single day I find myself journaling about something new. This is how I felt today. This is what I did today. And the same thing can happen in your monthly reflection. You can look at it and think, these are all the things that happened this month. These are all the things that I learned. This is what I want to bring into the next month, and use that to literally just fuel yourself for the following month and the month after that and the month after that. And it wasn't until I sat down with myself and I actually saw at like what my month looked like, and I was like, wow, I had a lot of sugar and I ate a lot of random junk food. Wow, I didn't really work out a lot. Wow, I only read one book. Wow, I didn't do anything for me. Like maybe I didn't even go on my walks. I didn't listen to a podcast. Like whatever it is, when you actually sit down with yourself and you look at all the things that you didn't do or accomplish throughout the month, it makes you want to be a better person the following month. It makes you want to focus on your goals even heavier and actually hit them the following month. And that's exactly what I started doing. When I sat down and I reflected and I looked at what I accomplished and what I didn't accomplish, maybe I spent too much money on food, maybe I didn't save enough money. Like you can look at it in every category, in every aspect, and really break down like what do you want to fix and what do you want to do to be a better person. Lastly, number 6 is set plans, take action immediately, and start working backwards. So this is kind of like a 3-in-1, but I feel like these all really apply when it comes to each other. So when I say set a plan, I literally mean look at what it is that you want to accomplish. What is it that you want to do either this month or this week or with your life? And for me, like I said before, I have different categories for everything it is that I want to accomplish. So I started off really small. In June and right now a little bit of July, I've been really focusing on my personal self and things that I want to change about me. I was sleeping in a lot, I was having a lot of sugar, and I wasn't really focusing on my personal health. Like I was just doing whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. I didn't really have a routine. And when I personalized my routine, I learned I need to personalize my routine, because things aren't fun if you don't personalize it and make it true for you. And that's a problem that I was noticing, was when I was trying to copy like other people's morning routines, or when I was trying to copy other people's aesthetic, that girl routine, it wasn't fun for me because I don't like to journal in the morning. I don't like to meditate in the morning. That is just not me. I like to go on my walks first thing in the morning. I like to listen to a podcast. I like to get educated and informed first thing in the morning, and then come back, make my breakfast, make my coffee, shower, change, and then get my work started for the day. Like that is truly my perfect morning. But it took me trying different things to realize like what works for me. And what I did is I set a plan and I immediately took action. I was like, I want to be a morning person. I want to take more advantage of my time because there's 24 hours in a day. What did I actually do today? Did I really spend 6 hours on Instagram? Did I really spend 5 hours not doing anything at my desk or at my computer? And by really honing in on that and just looking at your goals and whatever it is you want to accomplish and actually writing down like a step-by-step plan, you again would be surprised at just how much you can accomplish. And the reason why I say work backwards is because, listen, I've heard so many interviews with entrepreneurs and really successful people. All of them have said they started with like their goal and their dream in mind, and they work backwards on how did that person or whatever it is, how did anyone in their industry that was before them get to where they are today. And I'll give you guys an example. A really great entrepreneur is Tara Bose. She was the founder of SmartSweet, and in all of the interviews that I watched with her, she always says that, you know, she had a purpose and she had her vision, which was to kick the sugar out of candy and to make it enjoyable for people who either couldn't have sugar or for people who wanted a healthier alternative to candy. And she thought about the bigger picture. She wanted to be the global leader in revolutionizing candy in a healthy way. She wanted to be the global leader in the world, and she needed to start slowly, and that was by doing it nationwide. Okay, how do you do that? You start with North America, then you move here. You have to get into retailers. You have to get into all these different chains. And she literally just looked at the bigger picture, and in 4 years, she was able to have a $360 million exit. Her company was acquired by TPG, and in all of her interviews when she talks about how she got to where she is today and how she got that acquisition and that exit in just 4 years, it literally was because she had that visualization. She worked backwards and she started taking action immediately. She dropped out of college, she bought Amazon gummy molds, and she was immediately just starting to recipe test, and she was reading scientific journals and reading like all of these different articles and things about other people who are in the candy industry or in the food industry, and she literally just worked and worked. And so I'm telling you, you need to just look at whatever bigger picture it is that you want to accomplish and think, what can I do to work backwards from that? And listen, not every step is going to be that thing that is going to get you to the next one, but at least you're trying it. And with failure, there really is no such thing as not learning from failure. You shouldn't be afraid to fail. You should be excited to fail because you can learn so much from that. There are so many lessons in failure because you can look at it and think, okay, this didn't work, but this is the bigger picture. This is what I actually learned, and now I can apply that to my next step and then my next step. And failing is a great thing. I've failed in a lot of different things in life, and the amount of things I learned from that I've applied into other areas and aspects of my life have just been phenomenal. So I'm telling you, the taking action immediately part is so true, and is something that is where people already fail immediately, is because they try to make it perfect. And it's like, things don't have to be perfect, you just have to get it started and you just have to get the ball rolling, and then you learn as you go. And it's kind of like building a plane while you're flying it. You are figuring it out as you go. And so I'm telling you, like, whatever it is you have in mind, that goal that is in your heart, you can make it happen. That is all for today's video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. This honestly came to me from a TikTok comment where someone said I was inspiring them to get started again with YouTube, and I was like, you know what, let me make a video on how I stay inspired, because honestly it can be really hard when you have low views to keep going. But I believe in myself, and I'm just picturing like, this is where I want to be, and I'm just working backwards from that. I'm taking my own advice. I'm not like other people. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. And thank you so much for all the support recently on all of my videos. It really means the world to me. So thank you. Bye.